Love often begins in ways people do not notice. It does not always announce itself with excitement or certainty. Sometimes it arrives quietly, disguised as routine moments and ordinary conversations. That was how their story started. A simple meeting on a regular day. A brief exchange of words. A small smile that felt unimportant at the time. Yet something shifted, even if neither of them understood it right away. At first, there was no intention behind their interactions. They spoke casually, shared opinions, laughed at simple things, and went on with their lives. There were no expectations and no pressure. Time simply passed more easily when they talked. Conversations felt natural. Silence did not feel awkward. It felt comfortable. As days turned into weeks, communication became consistent. Messages arrived without hesitation. Replies came faster. They began to recognize each other's patterns. The way one explained things carefully. The way the other listened attentively. Without effort, they became familiar, and familiarity slowly turned into comfort. They talked about work, responsibilities, and daily challenges. Over time, conversations shifted into deeper territory. Dreams were mentioned casually at first, then discussed seriously. Fears were hinted at, then openly expressed. They spoke about uncertainty, about life not turning out the way they expected. With each conversation, trust formed quietly. Love did not appear suddenly. It grew gradually. In consistency. In attention. In presence. In the way they remembered details about each other. In the way they checked in without being asked. It was not dramatic love. It was steady and subtle. And because of that, it felt real. They supported each other during stressful moments. Encouraged each other during difficult days. Small words carried unexpected weight. Being present became more important than saying the right thing. Without realizing it, they became emotionally attached. Eventually, the attachment turned into something deeper. Care transformed into concern. Concern turned into commitment. Love had found its place, not through promises, but through actions repeated over time. But love rarely exists without challenges. As the bond strengthened, expectations formed. Some were spoken openly. Others were assumed. Differences that once felt small became noticeable. Misunderstandings occurred more frequently. Words were interpreted differently. Silence began to replace communication. Arguments did not start suddenly. They developed slowly. Small frustrations were ignored. Feelings were held back. Listening became less intentional. Each person wanted to be understood, but neither slowed down enough to fully understand the other. She began to question herself. Her words. Her reactions. Her importance. She revisited old conversations, searching for where things changed. He struggled quietly, replaying moments in his mind, wishing he had handled situations differently. Both felt the shift, but neither knew how to address it properly. Love did not disappear. It became hidden beneath pride and fear. Fear of saying the wrong thing. Fear of appearing vulnerable. Fear of being misunderstood. Silence grew heavier with time. Days passed, then weeks. The distance between them felt uncomfortable, yet familiar. They missed what they once had but were unsure how to return to it. The connection that once felt effortless now felt fragile. Eventually, reality demanded honesty. Continuing in silence became more painful than facing the truth. When they met again, there was no anger. No accusations. Just honesty shaped by exhaustion. They spoke openly about their frustrations. About moments they felt unheard. About expectations they never expressed clearly. They acknowledged their mistakes without defensiveness. For the first time in a long while, they listened without interrupting. Forgiveness did not come immediately. It required patience. It required humility. It required recognizing pain on both sides. Slowly, understanding replaced resentment. Words became clearer. Tension eased. They realized something important in that moment. Love is not maintained by feelings alone. It is maintained by communication, effort, and choice. By choosing understanding over pride. By choosing patience over assumptions. They did not promise perfection. They promised honesty. They promised to speak instead of withdraw. To listen instead of assume. To address issues before silence could grow. Moving forward required intention. They learned to express concerns earlier. To ask questions instead of forming conclusions. To acknowledge emotions without dismissing them. Love became less about emotion and more about responsibility. Challenges did not disappear. Mistakes still happened. But they handled them differently. Conversations became clearer. Expectations were discussed. Growth became mutual.